Welcome to it, sports fans. It is the MKT Show, Thursday, the 18th of February in the year 2021. Welcome to it. Congratulations on staying alive. Great song, by the way. Great song, great movie. Staying alive. Big news, by the way. Faf du Plessis retired. I'll tell you my thoughts on that. I've expressed them before. But end of an era. End of an era, some might say. And then last night we saw Dortmund produce the performance of a lifetime. Got some thoughts on Brod Haaland, who is something else. Erling is a player. So my thoughts on him and all of that. MKT inspires Cliff Central Sport on social media, if you are looking for us. Otherwise, it's Cliff C Sport. That announcement, by the way, of our dates changing, a few people asking, TBD. One or two last touches, as with anything, anyway. Takes a little bit longer than you'd like it to, but we're getting there. We're getting there. We're inching towards some sort of success there. And I'd say we're less than a month away. Less than a month away. All right. Listen, short and sweet. I think, I don't know, it's Thursday, you know. My team doesn't play on Thursday. But I think Man United are on in a little bit, or they were on 10 minutes ago. One of the two. Either way. Europa League. What you gonna do, huh? Good luck. Good luck to all the Thursday teams. That's all I'll say. Good luck to the Thursday teams. All right, let's get into it. Faf du Plessis, big announcement. Protea Cricket. So I try to stay away from it on social media, just so I could give my own opinion. Otherwise, you know, you get caught up in sentiment. And I think as South Africans, we're generally nice people. I think it's the one appealing thing about South Africans, you know, really, really nice people. But before I get into that, so my rule's always been, if you're looking to find out who you are, so in general, I mean, in sports, it's I use it because it's been my sports method forever since I was young, and I was taught this way. It was, you take out your best performance and you take out your worst performance, because nobody's that, right? No human being is their best day or their worst day in life. But whatever's left, that's generally what you are, right? Whatever's left, that body of work is what you are. So you take out, whether you're in sales, in real life, in sport, whatever it may be, take out your worst day, take out your best day. What's left is what you really are and who you really are. So Faf du Plessis, 69 tests, 40 average. I mean, Martin van Jaarsveld couldn't even build a career in and around those sort of numbers, batting at number 4. And Martin van Jaarsveld had an awful top order protecting. Awful. So for me, I'm afraid, as much as there's this sentiment, this good sentiment to Faf du Plessis, I'm sorry. It was time 2 years ago. It was time 2 years ago. And for me, I really don't understand why he was still there, especially the fact that he wasn't captain anymore. It was very clear to anybody watching that he's not good enough to bat number 3, number 4. And that's not just his numbers. Is technically, you need to look a certain way, especially against the new ball. Faf du Plessis can't play the new ball. He couldn't. He never could. At best, technically, at absolute best, he was a number 7 batsman. That ain't good enough. 69 tests, 40 average. And I'll go back to it again. When you have Cullis, Amla, AB de Villiers, and Graham Smith and Dean Elgar ahead of you for the bulk of your career, he was batting 7 for a stage. 6, 7. Folks, when you have those people I've just mentioned, you cannot average 40. Adam Gilchrist averaged 47 when he had a legendary batting lineup ahead of him. Adam Gilchrist is also one of the best wicket keepers to ever live. Gilchrist was a keeper. Faf du Plessis gave you nothing but batting. I'm sorry. The goodwill for me, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, South Africans. And I know what South Africans are like, is we all like to let it go, but he's gone. I'm sorry. I'm just this type of person. It was too late. And I always wonder this in life. And again, this might be me being emotionally disconnected. But I don't know if you've had this in your life, because some people are just like this, or you might know somebody. Do you notice how people in relationships, they always need to take it to where it gets ugly when we can all see this thing's over? You ever seen that? Why do people do that? Like, I'm big on having the self-efficacy to move on from people. Like, if a personal relationship doesn't work for me, a romantic relationship doesn't work for me, a work relationship doesn't work for me, I'm out of there. I'm not big on staying and trying to sort things out. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Like, beyond 30, like, I'm 34 now, right? Beyond 30, nothing should be hard. Like, relationships shouldn't be hard. And by that, I don't mean you shouldn't fight. I don't mean you shouldn't have your squabbles. You're all growing. But there's a certain level where if it's not working, it's not working. The Proteas should have moved on from Faf. We were awful 2 years ago. He's not good enough. 40 average in 69 test matches. And he was batting number 4 for the Proteas. Number 3 at a stage. Folks, Kane Williamson's about to average 55. Steve Smith, 55. Marnus Labuschagne, 51. And rising. That's your number 3. That's your number 4. That's what that looks like. Not 40. And also, this 40 has kind of really been padded by the back end, purely because the Proteas haven't been able to organize a quality fixture in 3 seasons. He's really like a 35 average batsman. Folks, I'm sorry. And also the captaincy part, he had Philander, Morkel, Rabada, and Steyn at the same time. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. So for me, I just don't understand why we had to let it get so toxic. Why do people do this? Why do organizations do this? Why do things have to go into the sewer before you can say this thing should be blown up? I'm sorry, but Faf survived off that Adelaide. When was that? 2012, huh? He survived off Adelaide 2012. I'm sorry. I'm a what have you done for me lately type of person. I don't believe in keeping medals. I don't believe in keeping awards and certificates. You got to listen, we got to update your CV, brother. Or my sister, whoever it may be. Update the CV. Update the resume constantly in sport. Otherwise, you got to go. Since 2012, I just don't know what Faf du Plessis did. I just don't. And if I'm wrong, go ahead and show me an innings where you go, my God, he turned that around outside of Adelaide. 2012. He survived for 9 years. And I've always had this problem with South African sport. In South Africa, there's this line where he's got experience. No, he's got experience. It is the biggest load of nonsense I've ever heard. It is the biggest load of tosh I've ever heard. Experience shouldn't keep you in the team. If you're good and experienced, stay in the team. Sorry, it's a performance-based thing. This isn't, I'll use this example over and over. It is not Montessori. At Montessori, at these new age schools, listen, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm not an educator. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it works for some kids. Everyone get along. Everyone gets a medal. Great. Once you start to get paid, once there's dineros on the table, I'm afraid nobody gets chances. Nobody gets chances. Faf du Plessis, it's unbelievable to me that he's been here this long. But here's what needs to happen. All right. Is if we're serious about this thing, it's got to be a complete new era. I'd like Markram to get the new era, and he must be able to do what he wants. I think him, Rabada, Ngiti, that's probably the next, right? That's the next age. Elgar will probably be the elder statesman that'll hold it all together and tide them over. But I'm afraid Themba Bavuma's got to follow Faf du Plessis. And, I don't blame. My thing is, I don't blame Faf. If you paid me 4 million rand a year to hang around, why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't I? So, folks, I've said this before. In my leadership, I always want to dislike my leadership because there is going to come a time, even if it's the right choice. And great leaders, if you go and look throughout the history of time, great leaders have done things against the popular vote, which was the right thing to do. I always like to feel that I don't like my leader or there's something about my leader, because at some stage, leaders have to make decisions against the popular vote. This has nothing to do about Faf as a person. I don't know. Could be the greatest guy alive. But I'm afraid, folks, the CSA should have guillotined 2 years ago. So I don't blame Faf. I don't blame him. It's poor leadership right from the top, and that is going to disseminate into the dressing room. The next one who's got to go is Bavuma, though. I'm sorry. Like, if he stays, it's joke city. We can be awful without Temba Bavuma. 30 average to bat number 5, number 6, or whatever he bats, ain't gonna cut the mustard, especially since it's been 40 tests. Sorry, if you're a Protea fan like me, that ain't gonna last. They can play T20 cricket, one-day cricket. I just don't care. Not on the test team. It's time for Hamza. It's time for Markram to take over. You got Algar in the middle there. Figure out who else you put in there. I just don't care. But I'm glad Faf du Plessis is gone. I've been saying for 3 years, really, that he should have been gone. He should have definitely been gone 2 years ago. And I've got no positive sentiment. There's nothing about it for me where I feel, oh, this has been a useful addition. The last 2 years have been calamitous. And we could have been awful without Faf. Could have been awful without him. The next step is Bavuma's got to go. If Protea cricket's serious, a new era, new time, blah, 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 Bavuma's got to go next. We're not giving chances. Like 40 tests. I'm sorry, Bavuma, that's what you are now. You average 30, and you don't give me anything else. So you're not a keeper. You don't bowl. I'm sorry. I can get 30 from Hamza as well. And he's 6 years younger, 8 years younger, whatever it is. I'd rather have a 22-year-old being Bavuma than Bavuma at 30. He's 30 years old. At best, he's got 2 years left. Folks, then we have to start again in 2 years' time with Temba Bavuma, who's going to end up with... Because, by the way, he's 30 now. He's not going to get any better. You've already seen the best. That's why Bavuma, for me, has to go. 26 to 32. You've already seen the best Temba Bavuma is going to be. The best he's going to be is a 30 test average. You've seen it now. And I've heard some madness about Bavuma being the Protea captain. Are you kidding? Like that becomes shambolic. That becomes an absolute... I mean, there's no way, surely. Not even the CSA can get it that wrong. Bavuma as test captain. I mean, do me a favor. Do me a favor. All right, love to know your thoughts. I just, I listen. I love the Proteas. But I can't live with what I've just seen. The last 3, we're going into the 3rd year of being horrendous. Folks, and here's the thing. Some people, and I know young people love T20 cricket. A lot of people were brought into cricket by IPL. But here's my thing. Just maybe on the weekend, I'll give you a little homework. Because it's not hard enough having a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a wife, a husband, and a household to run. So I might as well give you some homework. Go and look at every single cricketer who's a T20 cricketer, one-day cricketer, and tell me if they translate to one-day cricket, to test cricket. Then go and do the reverse exercise. I've always said this. If you can play test cricket, you can play one-day cricket. And if you can play one-day cricket, you can play T20 cricket. Go and look at all the guys that are T20 specialists. Go and look at all the guys that are one-day specialists. Doesn't always translate to the test. It doesn't. So it doesn't work that way. Don't believe me? Go and look. And I listen, I don't want to chop down any guys, right? But you can go and look. I think you know who the one-day specialists are. I think Bavuma's a one-day specialist. And I think maybe Faf should have been as well. But T20, one day, that doesn't translate to test. If you can play test cricket, you can play all of them. Because it's a technique game, right? And then it's about what's upstairs as well. And technique travels, folks. If you got the technique, you can play one-day cricket, and then you can play T20 cricket. Jacques Kallis. Think of all the greats. So, yeah, I'm just about... I don't even know what to do. I'm so exasperated. I'm really exasperated. It's like it's that huge relief of getting out of a horrible, horrible relationship. And you're 3 years down the line. You don't know how. You caught yourself with this. What do they say these days? What do the youngsters say? So toxic right now. Such a toxic relationship. So hashtag too blessed to be stressed. Hashtag too blessed to be stressed is what I should be. Faf du Plessis, listen, you don't want to be mean. You can only wish him all the best, but adios. All right, take some questions. Jess Randolph says, end of an era indeed. Messi and Ronaldo, shadows of what they were. I'll finish off on that subject, Jesse. Jesse says, who's the best player in the world right now? Looking forward to your list of youngsters. I'll do that tomorrow. Matt Kite saying, awesome show. Hey, Matt, are you sure you're watching the right show? Awesome show. Holy smokes. All right, I'll take it, man. I will take it. Is it Keats or Kites? Oh, that's tough. That's a tough one there. Matt, maybe you can help me out. Is it like the kites that I fly in the sky, Or was it like keys with a TZ? Keats, kites. Is it German? Tough stuff there, Matt. Tough stuff. Tough name. Tricky. And I'm not the smartest person, so I'm not going to figure that out. I do not understand the rules of the English language, or possibly, oh, could it be Yiddish? Could be a Yiddish name. Could be German. Oh, it's a tough one. Matt, great name. Kites, Keats, TBD. All right. Rika says, if you want a world-class powerhouse team, then even your number 4 can't have an average of less than 40. Your 3 and 4 must average at least 50. Faf was never good enough. Look, so here's my point, and I think I just want to echo what Rika is saying. Folks, for 5 years, here's what South Africa's batting lineup looked like that Faf was in the team. Smith, right? Gibbs / Alga, right? Amla, Cullis, AB de Villiers, Ashwell Prince was batting 6. Ashwell Prince, what's his average? 48, I think. Hey, love him or hate him, Ashwell Prince was the perfect test number 6. He was the poor man's, and this is maybe harsh. I loved Ashwell Prince as a number 6. He wasn't going to get you those big hundreds, but solid, and he gets you those big numbers that he averaged. I believe it was about 46, 48 in the end. He was your number 6. So Faf du Plessis got to play behind that lineup. None of those people averaged below 45. Maybe Elga. I'm not so hot on Elga either, but a story for a different day. Listen to that lineup. Smith, Gibbs / Elga, right? Amla, Cullis, AB de Villiers, Ashwell Prince. Then Faf du Plessis had to do his thing. And he still could only average 40. No. And Rikus, I couldn't agree more. Just go and look at it. New Zealand are a university team. They got Taylor and Williamson. They are a university team. There are some good university teams out there that'll beat New Zealand. They got Ross Taylor and Kane Williamson. I don't want to talk about Joe Root and that bunch. Forget that. That's going to Pujara. I mean, we couldn't even compare. Imagine comparing Faf to that. Rohit Sharma. I mean, I don't want to go to the Aussies. Just go to New Zealand, who are a university team. Kane Williamson might finish with a 60 average the way he's going. Couldn't agree more, Rikus. It's just, I'm sorry. Folks, just go back to the Australia team 6-4 split with a keeper. It might be a bit of jargon talk, by the way. 6-4 split means you play 6 specialist batsmen. Your number 7's the keeper and 4 bowlers. It means if you want to do that, because Test cricket is a specialist game, you don't need all-rounders. Unless your all-rounder is Sean Pollock. I've never loved an all-rounder, and I never loved Lance Klusener in Test cricket. I'm the proponent of, if you're in Test cricket, do your job. The first 6 are specialist batsmen, right? Then your keeper's number 7, and he splits the lineup. Then it's the bowlers. And unfortunately, if your 6 is Faf du Plessis, who's really a number 7, as we've seen, because that's where most of his career was, that's a mess. And then you affect the bowling balance. Rika says, where are we? If Markham batted at 4, his average would have been much higher. I agree. And I don't think Markham is an opening bat, by the way. Rika says, Mbulelo, let's be honest here. Temba will never get dropped. Faf opens the door for guys like Hamza and Van Tonder. How would your top 6 Test batting lineup look? And he says, I think Markram will become Test captain and Bavuma vice captain. This is my prediction. Yeah, let's be honest. I think Bavuma has a little bit of the seer factor, a little bit of the second coming of Jesus kind of factor. I don't see him getting dropped, and I don't love it. I don't love it. I think it's an insult to everyone who's behind him. I think Hamza's already better than him, to be honest, with you. I'll tell you what, the top 6 batting lineup is something I will come on to. Good question, though. Definitely great question. And now that Faf's gone, I'll probably pick a full Test team, because you can't just be a naysayer, huh? You got to have solutions, people. Solutions. And then Jesse says, well, what do you think about your Australia cancelling the tour? They're a bunch of douchebags, especially having agreed. You don't renege after you've agreed on something, especially where there's money involved, especially where protocols have been put in place. Bunch of douchebags, but softies, right? Living in the first world, bunch of softies. And then Rika says, there was a time before Ashwin opened Ashwin the batting for the Proteas, opened the batting for the Proteas. I think he was number one ranked batsman in the world for a while. He was, you know what, Ashwin, because I don't think he was ever one of the boys, because I think we know under Graham Smith and Boucher and that lot, it was a little bit of a boys club, not a little bit, a full-on boys club. And Ashwin was just never one of the Oaks. So I don't think he ever got the love, you know, like Ashwin's not a big talker. He's never, hey, listen, baby, men lie, women lie, numbers, they don't lie. Ashwin was a top class. Love Ashwell, Ashwell Prince, unbelievable player. Numbers don't lie. Men lie, women lie, numbers, they do not lie. They do not lie. I will move on now quickly to last night. Listen, by the way, great comments there. Okay, cricket, huh? Test cricket, great thing. Still not sure on Matt Keats. Oh, Keats. That's tough, Matt. You're going to have to help us out there. Going to have to help us out. I won't be able to sleep tonight. I'm a restless sleeper. I mean, Matt Keats. Whew, tough stuff. Tough stuff. All right, let's move on. Borussia Dortmund last night. Great performance. Great game, by the way. Sevilla, Borussia, wide open. Wide open. By the way, I'm enjoying football because I like the tactical side of things. I'm loving it without fans. I love to be able to hear what the coaches are saying, what the players are saying. It's awesome. And I love to hear crunching tackles coming in. But so I just want to say, I've been terrible at something in my life, especially in the romantic world. I've only had 2 serious girlfriends. Number one, not a great face. And looks are important. Don't let anybody on Instagram who's being body positive tell you anything else. Looks are important. And I'm very clear. I'm not Idris Elba by any stretch of the imagination. I think that's why I've had 2 girlfriends. Also, probably not the nicest person. You've got to be a nice person to anyone watching this. Do your best to be a nice person. It's really hard. It'll get you a girlfriend or a boyfriend. You know, if you're a lady, be a good lady. Be a good person as a woman. You know, I don't know what that means, but just be a good person. If you're a dude, be a nice dude. Ladies like that, by the way. Apparently being a nice person, other nice people like that. So maybe I'm not a nice person and I'm not good looking. Hey, be who you can afford to be. I haven't heard that information. But my point is this. In relationships, right? You know, we also bad at this one thing. We're really, really bad of getting out of a relationship and getting into a new one. And my theory is this, you know why? It's because, especially if you had a great relationship and it ended, because it's not always, relationships don't always end because the other person's awful. They were great, but they had to move. They were great and they were religious and you weren't, or vice versa, or whatever it was. They're a great person. You don't see them as any less. It's just the circumstances dictated. You grew apart. Sometimes people say, oh, in the relationship, we were growing. But sometimes you have to be careful not to just grow. Sometimes you grow apart. And that happens. By the way, mature people, you leave it behind. But what we're really bad at is if your ex-partner was great, you move into the new relationship with those expectations. And inevitably, folks, we've all been there, huh? Now we're trapping the other person to, they may be great in their own way, but you still, the benchmark is your ex-girlfriend who was maybe whatever, your ex-boyfriend who was whatever. And this person's great, but you don't see them for being great because you're still looking for that X in this one. We're terrible at that as people. We are so bad, which is why most relationships after your big relationship fail. That's just my personal thing. And I think the world is going to be going through that very, very soon. I think we're in a relationship with Cristiano Ronaldo and Leo Messi that we don't understand. They are so transcendently great. These two are so great. And if you're a tennis fan, you understand what I'm talking about. These two are so great. They have put the bar so high. It is like dating a supermodel who is also a neuroscientist, who is also a surgeon, but then she also rescues puppies in her spare time. That's Ronaldo. That's Messi. Like, you'll never see this again. You may never see any one of these two again. Forget about just one of them. You may never see Ronaldo's numbers, Ronaldo's success, Ronaldo's consistency. You may never see Leo Messi's, the outrageous number of outrageous goals Leo Messi scored. How many times has he dribbled teams from the halfway line and chipped the keeper after dribbling 7 people? You may never see someone get 5 Ballon d'Ors again. Availability is greatest ability. These two aren't just great because of what they've done. but they're available. They're always there. Listen, people tell me Ronaldo, Messi flop in finals. They're in the final. Tell you what I don't need. I don't need Neymar Neymar has been injured for the last 4 years every time it's his sister's birthday. Do with that what you will. Lost 2 World Cups. Wayne Rooney, if you're an England fan, if you're a Man United fan, you know what I'm talking about. 2 World Cups, metatarsal, this, that, the other. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Leo Messi takes Argentina to the final. It's a crapshoot, right? You get to the final. I need you there. Be there. These two are special. And I think the world is trying to translate that onto Mbappe and Haaland. Folks, don't do it. At 20, Leo Messi was already starting to make Ronaldinho uncomfortable at Barcelona. 20, the rumblings were coming out of La Masia. They said the next one is ready. Oh no, we got this guy Ronaldinho who's just been Ballon d'Or. Hilarious. Leo Messi at 20 was ready to step into those shoes. They held him back for another 2 years. At 22, he was Ballon d'Or. At 22, he was the best player in the world, on earth, ever. I believe ever. But at that time, 22 years old, his first Ballon d'Or. 23-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo at Manchester United, the biggest juggernaut in history. Folks, expectation is a killer, and it makes a difference. Expectation is a killer. Mbappe at PSG, Haaland at Dortmund. Love both those kids. But it's a very different beast to being 21 years old at Manchester United and being the man. And Alex Ferguson, if there's a great story of Cristiano Ronaldo didn't want number 7. I forget what number he wanted. Fergie insisted that he took the 7. Folks, Antonio Valencia, if you don't think it's a big thing wearing the number 7 at Man United, oh, it's just a number, it's just a jersey, put it on. Antonio Valencia put on the number 7 jersey for a season. The next season, he was back in the 25. Because when we say number 7 in United, we talk about Beckham, we talk about Best, we talk about Cantona. That's, I'm afraid, nobody just gets to wear that jersey. Because you wear that, whew, Ronaldo at 21 stepped into those shoes. Leo Messi wore the great number 10 at Barcelona. Need I say more? The number 10 for Argentina. By 22, he was the greatest on this planet. Kylian Mbappe is 22 now, will be 23 when the season ends, won't have a Champions League. And by the way, I'm not sure he's the best youngster in world football. I'll tell you tomorrow more my thoughts on that. I love Haaland, but at 20, Leo Messi was ready to replace Ronaldinho. Haaland at 20, I'm sorry, is not better than Aguero now. If Haaland was there and Aguero was fit at Man City, he's not better than Aguero. Forget it. And here's the other thing, by the way. Haaland or Mbappe cannot put up Messi's numbers. And they're playing in Germany, a one-team league. And they're playing PSG, honestly, practices harder than the league. Folks, we must get out of this thing of when we go to a new relationship, bring in the expectations from the old one. The football world right now, and I'm one of them, are in a deeply connected, deeply intertwined marriage, a deep marriage with Ronaldo and Messi. Do not put that expectation on anybody else. They're another level. It's another level. Mbappe's never going to hit those numbers. And by the way, here's the thing about Mbappe, just before we finish. Injured young is injured old. Nobody gets better. Trust me, I've seen it. He's injury prone now. Mbappe still 23 this year, has not played more than 30 games in a league season. And that league is a walk, folks. And they pamper him and they babysit him there. Cristiano Ronaldo was the man at Manchester United by 21 years old. Leo Messi at 21 was the man at Barcelona. And at 22, right, Leo Messi was the best player in the greatest team of all time. Prime Henry, Prime Eto'o, Prime Iniesta, Prime Xavi, and it was very clear. See, I think a lot of people always make this mistake. They go, oh, but he had all that support. Look how easy it is for him. That's not how it works. Folks, Xavi Hernandez has no time to lose. If you're not the best, you know what Xavi Hernandez does? He goes to Pep Guardiola. He says, get this kid out. He's not ready. We've got Henry. We've got Eto'o. He was the best player within a season and a half. after the greatest, maybe the greatest team Barcelona had ever produced, with Ronaldinho, Ludovic Juli, and Samuel Eto'o up front. So I'm afraid not, folks. Let's just accept the greatness while we have it. And I can only speak for men, gentlemen. If you've got a great woman in your life right now, please appreciate her. I mean, listen, here's Mr. Single Bachelor here giving relationship advice. My only advice from my own experiences is if you're in a great relationship, be in it. Be in it. Don't compare the next one to this one. Be in it. Enjoy the ride, because great is rare. Great girlfriends, great boyfriends, great footballers are impossible to find. We have two in one era. Two of the greatest of all time. They'll both be top 10 of all time. Messi will be top of the mountain, I believe. Not I believe. He's the top of the mountain. And Ronaldo will be somewhere in the top 5, top 6, top 5. Haaland is not. Mbappe is not that. Just prepare yourselves. Prepare yourselves. There's no good way. There's no nice way to break up. And these two are about to break up with us. Give it another 2 years. They're both gone. Prepare yourself. It ain't going to be the same. And by the way, if you're about to break up with your girlfriend, prepare yourself for the next one. It ain't going to be as good as it is now. Don't compare it. All right. That's it for today. It's been a good show. Great show. Hey, I love talking Test cricket, by the way. Gets my juices going. It's provocative. Gets the listen. That's a Will Ferrell quote. Shout out to you if you got that. So if anybody can help us out there, I'm still not sure if it's Matt Kites, like a flying kites, or Keats, like keys with a TZ. So that's tough. Matt, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. I thought he might come back, but he won't, which is okay. By the way, this is the MKT show. I'm MKT. This is Gareth Cliff. You're on Cliff Central Sport. Ladies and gentlemen, you could have been anywhere with anybody tonight. Before you go, click like, by the way. That really helps, as the Spanish might say, the algorithm helps us out, helps more people find this show. Be a friend, tell a friend. Share this if you like it. If you don't share it. Go back to, I don't know, picking up socks on the floor because your partner's not thoughtful. Whatever you were doing before this. I don't know. I'm not at your house. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know how you spend your personal life. You know what I'm saying? All right, tomorrow, Friday 5, I will talk about it. So, Jesse, I did not ignore your question. Tomorrow, greatest youngsters of all time. All right, you could have been anywhere with anybody. Chose to be with me. Ladies and gentlemen, Cliff Central Sport, MKT Inspires on social media. By the way, if there's something you'd like to know, so tomorrow I'll be releasing a little clip. The first one tomorrow, I'll do. A lot of people don't know how boxing scoring works. So I'm going to start explaining to people how that works, right? So little things like that, like, if you aren't a cricket fan, so let's say, for instance, I'll be explaining moving forward what the different types of left-hand bowlers you get, spinners, different types of spinners you get, the difference between medium fast and fast medium, etc. So I'll be doing little clips like that. If you'd like me to kind of do a tutorial-ish, it'll be a little bit fun. I'll do it in my own way. It's not going to be a boring ass thing. But I'm starting with the boxing series, and we'll start with, a lot of people don't know how boxing scoring actually works. And boxing, of course, is one of my favorite sports. I grew up since I was probably, in nappies. My uncle. So Xhosa community, by the way, in South Africa, if you don't know, Xhosa community only watch 2 sports. They don't watch football. Boxing rugby is number 1, and then boxing is a very, very close second. And if you go and look at the great champions in the 90s and the noughties, early noughties, mostly the 90s, you go and look at the great champions from South Africa, from the Hawk Makepula, but you can go and look at all those champions from the Eastern Cape, really the breadbasket of African boxing. So if you're Xhosa and you have people that are from the sticks, then you'll know boxing is in my blood. So I will explain tomorrow. Look out for the clips. MKT Inspires. If you can tag, if you do have a question moving forward, ask it on Twitter. I'm MKT Inspires, and just tag Betway ZA there, Betway South Africa, and say, I'd like to know this, and going forward. So I'm going to start with the boxing series. There's a few things in boxing I'd like to kind of educate. It'll be short little clips. Look out for that. Look out for the first one tomorrow. And it is Siafunda with MKT. That'll be on Betway and my social media. So look out for that. If you've got a question, just tag me on Twitter, MKT Inspires, and you can tag Betway there. that'll be coming out. Tomorrow, I explain how boxing scoring actually works, because I've seen how few people understand how that works, and it's a fun little idea we're coming up with. So let me know if you like it. MKT Inspires Betway South Africa. Go and tag me on Twitter if there's something you'd like to know in other sports, by the way, because I watch American sports. I watch NFL, NBA. I'm a huge baseball fan as well, have been since I was young. So if you've got questions from other sports that you don't get, throw it my way. I'll try and do a fun little tutorial. All right. If you like the content, push that one. If you don't, keep it moving. Keep it moving. Have a great evening. All right. Could have been anywhere with anybody. Chose to be with me, MKT, on the MKT Show, Cliff Central Sport. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your evening. Stay blessed, stay loved. It has been awesome. But for now, we are the hell out of here.